All right, today we are going to discuss to me, the most important thing about being a witch, being pagan, however you want to call it. Write your story. What I mean by write your story is write about your past and your family history and things like that. Learn as much as you can about your family history, because that will help you later. These stories about your past will help you later. It is both therapeutic and a good form of shadow work, and it also helps in finding your god or goddess, or god and goddess. Personally, I lean into Lilith and Freya, which are quite literally one and the same, just of different eras, time periods. Very closely related. But all you need to do it is pen and paper. Or your computer. Personally, I'm a writer by trade. It's not my profession, but by trade I am a writer. I prefer journals, notebooks, things like that, over doing it on the computer. I've got 20 different journals and notebooks that are half full, because I write poetry, music, lyrics, and I have my own personal stuff outside of that. But writing about your past, writing what is going on with you, it doesn't have to be like the old school Dear Diary, I kissed a boy and I liked it. No, it doesn't have to be like that. It's just, the best prompts would be, what happened? What did I learn from this? Could I have changed anything to make it go differently? To me, those are amazing writing prompts. Also, the what are you grateful for is a good writing prompt. I learned about the writing your story long before I learned I was pagan. It was actually a therapist of mine. The first thing he had me do was he told me to write down everything that happened to me in my childhood. What happened, how it made me feel, into, at the end, conclusions of how I thought everything then affected me today. And it was a lot. I might have mentioned it before, I don't know. And I took it one step further, because as anyone who has been following these videos knows, I've been fighting Scientology. I've been helping the SPTV Foundation. I have protested, whole 9 yards. But the one thing that was our rule before we started a channel, an SPTV channel on YouTube, which I do still have it, I haven't been active in a while, I need to catch up on it, was to tell your story. Tell your story, tell why you're here. Now, I am not going to be so brazen and bold as to say everyone needs to tell their story, everyone needs to make a video. No, I'm not going to do that. With that case, it was because Scientology has its dirty tricks department. They like to fair game. And if you put everything out in the open, they have nothing to use against you. That was why that was a thing. So I put everything out there, tears and all. And there's nothing they can use against me, because all anyone has to do, if they find some website with my name on it or whatever, is go to the videos. It's actually 2, because I put an update. If you want me to post them here, I will. I have no problem doing it. My story is probably one that sounds familiar to lore of the past. My story is part of the reason why I lean into Lilith and Freya. But nonetheless, your story and your family history is a big part of who you are. Learn as much about your family history as possible, especially the women of your line. I am not discounting men. Men can be witches. Men are witches. But at the same time, it is a more modern concept. Way back in the day. I'm not saying that male witches did not exist, but it was very rare. Most witches back then were women. And the witches who were men didn't really get caught. Some did, but most of them got through fairly unscathed. But primarily, being a witch is passed through the female side of the family. But you need to look into your family history. You need to write down your family history. Write down your history. And I'm not just, when it comes to bloodline, I'm not just talking about, where they came from. Write down their stories. That way you have something to look back on in the future. And you can notate similarities between their past and your past, and you can keep going back as far as you want. And there's limitations for everything, because names change, things like that, and not many people can afford to go to their places of origin overseas and really dig into it. But it helps establish your baseline. Right? What was your great grandmother good at, or great grandfather? If they were an amazing gardener, you might come from a line of green witches, and you just never knew. Or kitchen witches, or whatever you want to call it. These labels for witches now is also a newer concept, I've come to find out. I guess it's kind of a way to categorize. Someone probably got a bug up their butt and decided to nitpick and categorize because they were a little OCD about it, and it caught on. But definitely look into your past. And if you have questions about something in your past, something in your history, say a group or a coven that one of your relatives followed, ask. You can ask me even. I would be happy to find out what information I can to help. You can ask me in the comments, in the chats, anywhere you want. And also, when it comes to writing your story, let's drift back, because I know it was breaking up in the live, but dream journals, they are a real thing. You need to have one. Unless you have a killer memory, you need a dream journal of some sort. If you have a dream, write it. Unless you know it's super nonsensical and it's because you watched something the night before, which that's happened to me before. But write down your dream. The location, what happened, what you smelled, what you saw, what you heard. What color were you wearing? What animals did you see? Any little details. And that will help with interpreting the dreams and finding out what they mean, because your dreams are your subconscious talking to you. And we can get into interpreting dreams in a later video, a little bit down the line. I still have many of the basics to cover first. But definitely write down your dreams. Even my hubby has a dream journal. He sucks at writing in it. And he has a terrible memory when it comes to his dreams. He forgets them instantly almost. Unless it's something very off kilter that doesn't make sense, or he's had the dream before. Then he'll remember and he'll tell me about it. But write down your dreams, write down your family history, and journal about what happened during your day. Any prominent things, anything that pissed you off, how you felt, whatever. It all will make sense. Even if it's one of those things where you don't want to journal every day, but once a week you sit down and write down how your week went. What happened during the week? Did you get in a fight with your boss? Did someone do something really weird that didn't make sense? Did you see something odd? Anything. Because everything happens for a reason. And writing those things down will help you notice trends. Trends of what's going on. Okay, I keep fighting with my boss about this specific thing. Why am I fighting with him about this thing? It could be because he's an ass, whatever. Is it a safety thing you're arguing about? You know, this, that, and the other. And decide on if you should do something about it, and if you decide you should, what you should do. But that is really the long and short of it. This is actually a shorter video today. I wanted to get this one out there because, one, I'm getting married Monday, and I did not have the time to do my research and get everything written down. And this was the easiest one to do in such a time frame. But on that note, I will see you next week. I want to thank Jacksonville Witches Society for allowing me to start these classes and share the classes with them and with the Witches Way community and everybody else. And please like and subscribe and participate. I don't ask for much. That's all I'm asking for. And in the comments or in the chats, write down a little fact about yourself. Doesn't have to be something super personal, anything, extreme. It can be, I don't like this food, or this is my favorite thing to do in my spare time. Whatever. Just write an interesting fact about yourself. That way we can all get to know each other. And I will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Everyone have a great week. Bye.